Well, we had a relatively quiet off season, but we had a great season last year and we're ready for another one here. What's going on, guys? J-Hoy back with you today. Welcome back to episode number 17 of our franchise mode with the Anaheim Ducks. We are back here at the start of the regular season. And like we talked about in last episode, we went through the preseason. We have some guys fighting for spots, and we have kind of a big year for a lot of people, and we'll go over that here in a second. But before we get into the simulation and everything, we do have offers out to some free agents, as well as our right wing pro, our defenseman, our RFA defenseman who didn't re-sign Mitkov. He did sign, so we do have him. He's in the lineup. We'll see that in a minute. But yeah, Pro is the only one that's unsigned, and then we'll see some free agent signings coming up. So let's show you guys the roster to start off the year here in the regular season. And what's nice is it looks very similar to before. So we're keeping that top line, right? They did absolutely incredible last year. Ehlers, Zegras, and Terry. Obviously, we were able to re-sign Ehlers. We're going to, again, try to sign him to a little bit of probably a 3, maybe 4 or 5 year deal. Just kind of hope he stays with us. Zegras, Terry, obviously. Mercer, Strome, and Bertuzzi. And then DeBrusk, McTavish. And we have Tracy up here to start. Now, this is obviously the spot where Perot would normally go. But like I said, he is not under a contract currently. So Tracy is up here. We're going to try him out. This is a big year for him, mainly because he's already 25 years old. He sits in 81 overall, one of our former first-round picks before we actually started. And as you can tell, he's done well. He's done really well at the AHL level. He has the goal scoring, has everything he could possibly need. But every single time we give him games in the preseason, we see, hey, is he ready to come up? Is he not? He's always doesn't perform. So with Perot not signing yet, it's a good opportunity to see what he can do up here. Now, he will be on the third line with Jake DeBrusk and Mason McTavish. But again, you have to start somewhere. You got to play with somebody in order to get some points. So he's on the third line there. We have Andre Kasha on our fourth line, along with Bowers and King. Not that I really want Kasha there, but I didn't really want to put our first-round pick from, was it last year, 2 years ago, Ingles, on our fourth line. I'd rather him play some quality minutes to get his first kind of professional year with actually playing minutes in the AHL rather than playing in the NHL, playing 10 minutes a night or whatever it may be. So Kasha's there. Like I said, a really low-risk signing, so I'm not really too worried about what he brings. Maybe we'll end up trading him for something else. Who knows? But Bowers and King keep their place on the fourth line. Our defensive core is pretty much the same top 4, although they're on different lines. So going into this year, we kind of had the idea that we were going to try this guy. Not going to try to pronounce his name, that's for sure. But we're going to try him on the first line with Drysdale. We want Drysdale to be our superstar defenseman. Like we've talked about, he's been good. Right, he's slowly improved, right? When we first started, we were going through the rebuild. We made it to the playoffs, but we were still trying to figure stuff out. And now last year was his best career year yet. And 37 points necessarily isn't great, but it's pretty good. But also we're expecting more out of him. He went super positive last year. He did okay in the power play as well. So we're expecting a lot more out of him this year. And we're going to start with him and this other guy on the first line just to kind of see how that goes. Second line, we moved Pellick down, not because of his performance or anything, and not like we're really expecting much out of him as far as performance goes, but we do want to see what he can do with Fabro. So he's another guy that's kind of an up and down, but his overalls kind of remain the same. So he's there. And then we kind of have not a fill-in fourth line, but this is where Mitkov is on the third line. Just kind of hang out there. He can more than definitely get points, but we're going to try to see if we can have a little bit of a well-rounded defensive core. And then we have on here Axel Anderson, one of our guys we had last year, along with our top line. left defenseman. That was our third line, I think, last year. Maybe I could be wrong. But we're going to keep those guys there for now. In net, not a real question. Sorokin and Dostal, not really much to get into with them, so we're going to kind of just keep them there. That's kind of it, right? That's our team going forward. One thing, I know we already mentioned the signings, the re-signings and everything, but something we're going to be looking out for this year, and I'll kind of break that down. I guess probably the easiest way would be in the contract screen. So some things to look out for this year. Now, obviously, we kept the team together pretty much the same. You know, a couple random guys here and there are new. But for our big name players, you know, they're pretty much the same, right? And we have pretty much our young core solidified, if you will. But we do have some older players. And mainly I'm talking about the likes of the two players that are right here in Bertuzzi and Strome. Both coming off of, I'll say, career years, right? Strome, 89 overall, you know, really well. I think it was like 80s, like high 80s points last year. You know, 33 years old. You know, we have to keep an eye on this. And the main reason I say that is the trade value of him right now and by the trade deadline will never be higher. And same thing with Bertuzzi, right? Bertuzzi is usually like 85, 86, 87, like max overall. And we have to keep an eye on that, right? We have these players that are kind of at the age where it's like, okay, is it worth keeping them around? Can I try to find something younger? And like I said, you know, this last offseason, we weren't going to go out of our way to find a trade. But at the same time, these are things that are going to be running through my head throughout the first half of this year and even up to the trade deadline in next video, that this is the stuff we're going to be looking for, right? Bertuzzi and Strome, not necessarily on the trade block, but if we get to the point where, you know, we have the option or the opportunity to acquire younger players that are still just as good, just as performing as, you know, some of these other guys, and we can get a little bit of a return for some of these players, you know, that's what we'll be looking for. And it's the same thing kind of down here with, I won't say a rental in Kasha, but if we could get him, you know, get a prospect out of him, or, you know, even some draft picks out of him, that would be great. Another big question mark is Dante Fabro. He's had some pretty, like the last 2 years have been pretty good, and he's even kind of matching what Drysdale is doing. So we'll have to wait and see, right? If we could acquire something better, that a top line guy, if you will, because, you know, Drysdale, what's he listed at? Top 4. So if we could acquire a top 2, a superstar, you know, player, whether it's at the deadline, whether it's halfway through the year, and it costs getting rid of Fabro, then we might have to do that, because we already have Drysdale, we already have Pellick, we already have enough young players, especially on the defensive side, that we could probably afford to get rid of him. But at the same time, if he wants a low contract, I'm not going to be in a hurry to kind of shoo him out the door. Along with him, obviously, we have some other players that, you know, are going to want new contracts this year. So all depends on how it plays out this year. Right, we have our goaltenders signed, so we got a good solid core here, and I'm very excited to see what's next. Which, of course, is the start of our regular season. So let's get it started hot, hopefully, right? We are hoping to build off of last year, right? We made it to the Stanley Cup Finals. We did everything we wanted to do, and we just came up that much short, right? We had some pretty big injuries that just kind of sucked the life out of us in the playoffs, and we just kind of got stuck there. So a decent start. I'm going to offer Perreault another contract. So finally, Perreault did re-sign. It took forever, but he is back in the team. He's back on the third line. We scratch Kasha from the lineup. Tracy's down to the fourth line. But we have I'll say a decent start to our year so far. Of course, we added the trade block once, and of course, we get a million different offers. But, I mean, 20 games through, I mean, we're sitting just kind of even, right? We're just kind of having a decent start to the year. Let's keep it rolling here through the month of December. So many trades. I'm not even going to bother looking into them. Let's get to the point of, what's that, January 4th? Let's go to January 4th. Right, we should be about halfway through there. And it should give us a pretty good view on the rest of the year, right? We're in an okay spot. Well, next franchise mode I ever do, morale and all of these coaches meetings and everything else is getting turned off. I don't know why I keep it on, because I want that like realism almost, but at the same time, holy cow, holy notification. So how many games are we through right now? Okay. Where are we? So 36. We need to go 5 more. So Chicago, Tampa. So we'd put us there. Yeah, let's go there. That works. Last few games here. Just broke 20 wins. Carolina's firing their coach. All right. And we lose against a team that just fired their coach. Okay. All right. So we end with a win against Edmonton. We are officially halfway through the year. So, okay. We're in a decent spot right now. Of course, let's check with our player stats first, and then we'll get into the team stats. So no surprise here. Our top line is the top 3. After that, okay, so DeBrusk is actually performing really well. Mercer, so DeBrusk is on our 3rd line. Mercer and Strome are on our 2nd. Bertuzzi is on our 3rd line, or on our 2nd line, excuse me. So performance-wise, Bertuzzi isn't, like, this is one of those cases where, like, if he stays at an 89 overall and we can cash in on that trade value, I'd be really happy. Because we have DeBrusk there, and he's signed for a few more years at a low contract, so I'd be pretty happy with that. McTavish 21 points, he's playing 3rd line, not really too crazy. Perreault is actually coming in, done very well. 30 games played, 17 points. Tracy, 14 points in 41 games. Started the season on the 3rd line, moved to the 4th. Not exactly what we're hoping for. I mean, Kashi, 11 games played. Like, whatever. Drysdale, 19 points so far on the year. Positive 8. All of our defensemen are actually plus, like, very plus, which is good. Mitkov doing well, 11 points. Fabro's doing well. Anderson, Vekanainen, and Pellick all doing exactly what they're supposed to be doing. And on our goaltender side, I mean, pretty much identical numbers as far as when you look at save percentage, we look at goals against. 14 and 10 for Sorokin. Obviously, I'd like for some of those losses to go away and get into the win column. A couple overtime losses. But both a 9-10 save percentage, both a 2.6. Obviously, I'd like that a little bit lower. But hey, we're still doing okay. 42 goals, yeah, whatever. 2 assists for Sorokin as well, which is always fun to look at. But let's go look at the team stats. So when we're taking a look at the team stats, I know we're not in a great position, but we're also not in an awful one. So 14th overall, right? That's not horrible. So we're at 50 points overall, 24, 15, and 2. Okay, so let's kind of get into it. So I can already tell one thing, just given what we're looking at, we're at 130 goals for. And if you're looking at the top of there, we're looking at 169 goals for. So I can already tell this is going to be not where we want it to be. So let's take a look there. 130. Yeah, I think we're probably like bottom 10 in the league. So, we have the scoring. I almost feel, I don't know what to change to increase our scoring. Because, like, we're doing okay, right? Goals against 112, which is, okay, so second best in the league. So we need to increase our offense a little bit. So, okay, kind of understandable. What else do we got here? Power play, ooh, 13.2%. Bottom, what is that? Bottom 5 in the league. Not something you want to see. Penalty kill, we sit at 82.8, which is probably like right in the middle. And then shorthanded goals for. I know I never really look at it, but always a stat that's pretty interesting and fun to look at. So we actually have, where are we? We have 4. Okay. So we're 15-8-1 at home, 9-7-1 away. Last 10 being 7-3. So we're doing okay recently. Power play has to be adjusted for sure. What to change, not exactly 100% sure, but something needs to. Whether that's personnel, we swap around. We can't really change strategies for whatever reason. We can't adjust any of that. Other than that, I mean, scoring is an issue. So let's go take a quick look again. Now, if we're looking at goals, right, goals alone, you know, we seem to have a top 4 that's 12 plus, so that's good. But then after that, I mean, we have some guys scoring some goals. It's not like anyone's like just not. It's just what their role is in. Like, they're doing well overall, but we need just a little bit more. So maybe we put DeBrusque on the second line, put Bertuzzi on the third. You know, what do we do there? Do we swap lines? Hope that helps everything. You know, I don't really feel like a trade would help because I feel like we already have the overall. We already have the talent there. It's just kind of finding the right mix. Maybe like Bertuzzi doesn't really fit well on that second line with Mercer and Strome, so maybe we put DeBrusque up there. You know, that's the things I'm thinking about. So maybe we'll do that to start, kind of see how that goes, you know, till the deadline, and then maybe we'll have to trade Bertuzzi, find someone that fits, because he fits our scheme, yeah, pretty well. So it's not like he doesn't fit in our team. He does. I'm just not really sure what the issue is. Obviously, Perreault coming back and doing very well so far will help that, you know, offensive issue. So we fix our power play. We try to add, not necessarily add scoring, but hopefully, you know, time will kind of sort that self out. But other than that, I don't really see anything that needs to be addressed. You know, obviously, we'd like some of these numbers to be a little bit better. But for now, I don't see any major changes we need to make. As far as overall standings, I guess we didn't really look at that. So when we look at, where is it? Western Conference, we sit in 8th place. So again, we're in a decent enough spot that I'm happy with where we are. 50 points. I mean, we're 2 points out of the top of the wild card. We're 3 points out of the third place position in our division, and we're only 10 points off of first place in our division. So I don't think we're in a bad spot at all. Once we kind of, you know, tweak those last couple of things, I think we'll be, I don't want to say back to where we were, because obviously we had, 20 losses last year, and we're already at 15. So we're not going to be at that level again this year, but for now, we're in a good spot. I'm happy with where we are. And obviously, a little bit need to adjust, but for the most part, we're doing well. But that's going to do it for today's video. If you did enjoy, hit the like button down below if you haven't yet, or if you're brand new here, make sure to subscribe, turn that post notifications on so you never miss an upload, and don't forget, you can always change your mind later. With all that being said, guys, we'll see you in the next one.